On today's episode, Alan and I are going to recap the 2025 UKC Winter Classic. You're going to want to stay tuned for this one.
You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Welcome back to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'm the Coonhound Program Manager at UKC, and I'm joined today by the Director of Hunting Ops, Alan Gingrich. What's going on today, Alan?
Well, we're in our new studio today, in our mobile studio. We've never recorded from the back of our Ford truck, have we?
We have not. And
I've done several in the front seat. Never in the back like this.
We're here in central Illinois, and you can see about 3 miles on each side of us here, so we got the biggest studio there is.
Yep, this is where my cousin always tells me, in this area where you can see so far, he says you can run or watch a dog run away for half a day, and if you stand on a 5-gallon bucket, you can watch him go all day long.
I like that.
Yeah, but what a difference in the temperature. You know, we left Mississippi. It was a little cooler this morning when we left, but all week here it was, close to 70 and even in the mid-70s. And Debbie, what do we have on the dashboard there now?
32 degrees.
32 degrees. Look at that. 32 degrees. Wow.
We're going to be below freezing.
64. That's the temperature inside the cab, Debbie. We're talking about outside. Yeah, 32 degrees. What a difference.
Yeah, and we're actually recording this on the way back Sunday morning after the Winter Classic, and it's fresh on our minds, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was another good event. A lot of fun. It goes by so fast.
I feel like now more than ever, or this event, it just wasn't very many hiccups on it at all. Everybody seemed to be in a good mood. I think the weather plays into that a little bit. I don't think the coon movement was great early in the week when they went from kind of a cold snap to a hot snap, and I don't know your opinion on that, but I've always kind of thought, or I guess I've formed this opinion over the past several years, that it's not always going from hot to cold that affects coon movement, but I think also going from cold to hot can also make them sit in a little bit.
Yeah, no, I would say so. You know, I'm not an expert in what they do, how they move down here, you know, like maybe up north, you know, a little more experience, I guess, with that. But you mentioned something the other night, I think when maybe when we did that Facebook Live thing, you mentioned them talking about the acorn crop is not as good this year, maybe. And I asked somebody else after you mentioned that later on or the next day, and they were saying that is true. Just
that makes a big challenge for any guides down here who probably this time of year know where to hit and where the coons hold up right now. If they're not in the oak flats where the acorns are falling, where are the coons at?
Yeah, but you know, overall, when you think about how many casts actually hunted over the course of the week, starting with the warm-up slams on Wednesday night throughout those 4 nights.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, everybody was still looking at coons. We had several dead casts, like we could have in northern Indiana, but overall, you can still tree coons.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned warm-ups, so I guess we'll start at the beginning of the week. We all headed down Tuesday, made the long trek down. We made it here just in time to hit Como up and go get us a good steak and a good long night's sleep. That's about the best sleep we got this whole week.
Yeah, it is, and we always try to go there at least once, and it seems like Tuesday night is our chance to go there, and after that, it's kind of, eat at McDonald's a lot after that.
That's right. Get in touch with the Golden Arches, and and Wednesday we came in, and man, we got a lot done. Just kind of a 4-person crew, and then also we had a 5th come in a little bit later on, but we got almost all the stuff that we needed put together. Just had to put it in place on Thursday. But the main event on Wednesday night was getting prepped for both the warm-up slam and the pro slam.
Yeah, and that's always a fun one. And they were down a little bit, I guess, numbers not that much, but they still they hunt 70 some dogs, 77 or something like that.
Yeah, on Wednesday night they were hunting 77 dogs, and honestly on Wednesday night they were a little taxed last year. They had right at 100 last year, a little taxed on finding guides. 77 is still up. I think that's the second or third most that they've had in the past 7 or 8 years, so it's still a good number, but it's a manageable number for them.
It is. You got to remember, a lot of the locals that are helping guide and everything, they're all working too, and a lot of them are planning to hunt Friday and Saturday, plus they got to work Wednesday or Thursday and Friday. A lot of them, so. But yeah, it was a good number, and they handled it quite well. But it was just a good night. Just always a good atmosphere on that first night, as it was every day for that matter, really. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should mention, while we're talking about the warm-up slams, we should mention Coondog Wear, the new slam sponsor. They gave their $2,000 added purse, so $1,000 for Wednesday night's Final Four and $1,000 for Thursday night's Final Four. And that made for some pretty darn good payouts when you couple that with the Mississippi Raccoon Hunters Association, who also donated $500 to the Final Four each night for their Mississippi Raccoon Hunters Association members. The payouts were pretty phenomenal when we talk about $35 entry fee. Talking about Wednesday night, the Final Four split for MRHA members, $537 each.
That's pretty good on a $35 entry fee.
Yeah, and we're talking about the cutoff here, 77 dogs. It took 2 1/4 to get in there.
Yeah.
So one coon.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble.
Yep, 1 hour cast.
Yeah. So not bad. The Final Four that night champion Dirt Road Rowdy Rattler, owned by Lee Hatton. Grand Night champion Roughton's Black Riddle, owned by David Roughton. 5-Digit Bridget, owned by Brad Quaid, and Raymeyer's Dallas, owned by Nick Raymeyer. So it was pretty competitive, but
yeah,
we didn't get to really be a part of the warm-up slam much on Wednesday night because we were dealing with the
Pro Slam,
the second UKC Winter Classic Pro Slam, which has turned into kind of a fun deal for us, I think.
Yeah, it did. And there was a lot of interest in that too. You could tell, obviously the guys that were in it, and then everybody else kind of eyes on it and everything. We did that Calcutta on Wednesday night for it, and everybody came in to watch all that. And that was a fun little gig.
Actually raised quite a,
yeah,
got some pretty good paydays for some guys, and more than anything, just something fun to do while everybody's sitting there waiting for the cast to be drawn out.
They didn't have to, it wasn't just for those in the Pro Slam that could be involved with that. Anybody could bid on a dog, and yeah, I just had some fun with that.
Yeah. Only the first round of the Pro Slam on Wednesday night. The 4 cast winners advanced to Thursday, and that's when we had our final cast, and was able to get Jimmy Smith, the judge, and guide it for us. Jared Lehman ended up helping him out, and we did a little play-by-play online. They got quite a few eyes on it, and surprise, for the second year in a row. Rock'em Willie.
Who would have thought that? But yeah, obviously that's a good hound, and Tyler Pettit and Alan Holding and Jason Cooper own the dog from up in Indiana. But yeah, they've supported our Pro Slams, since we put them out, and this one last year you mentioned was the first one. They come and bring Tyler brings Pettit or brings Rock back again. Alan, I think, had 3 dogs in it, I think, in total.
Yeah, 3 of the 16 were Alan's, and for Rock's win, they got a $3,000 check. And second place was the 4X Floyd dog out of Missouri. Terry Bennett owns and handles. He got $1,750. Third place was Ray Myers Rotten. Nick Raymeyer owned and
dog
handled
off
that
of
dog.
Floyd.
Yeah, that's right.
Female off of Floyd. Yep.
He got $1,250, and then fourth place doubled his money. $1,000 paycheck was like you said, Schooner River Gunner, owned by Alan Holden and Jason and Jace Cooper of Indiana, handled by Peyton Roberson.
Yeah. Folks can go watch the play-by-play. Where did we post that? We did a Facebook Live thing too. You and I did after they drew out and all that. So you can go check that out on. I think it's probably lives where.
Yeah, it's on the UKC Coonhounds Facebook page. Both the little live video that we did, and also the play-by-play.
Yeah.
If you just look out for the Pro Slam posts on there, there's quite a bit of interaction on there.
Yeah, so that turned out pretty good.
Yeah, and then kind of shifted gears into Friday, starting out early. Sorry, we should talk about the warm-up slam on Thursday night as well. Yeah, again, not quite 150 like they had last year, but you could really tell the crowd was starting to roll in. They ended up having 137 entries on Thursday night. And again, at 150, they're a little taxed. Remember last year, Ronnie was telling us he had a handful of people there that he was not sure if they were going to get to hunt or not. He had to really scrounge us some guides, but 137, they got him in the woods, and he didn't look as stressed when I saw him Thursday night. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, it looked like, and they were tickled. That's a good number for them. That's always good if it kind of stinks to have to scrounge around looking for a guide here and there or what have you, so a number that they were prepared for and could easily handle. Man, we're driving across Illinois right here, going up, what is this, 57, I guess. But, man, I'm always just amazed by what it looks like out here. Just see how flat it is and all this agriculture, all this land here. I'll bet this is just rich soil through here, too.
A lot of food comes from this area.
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
Here we're driving through right now.
It's a long stretch here through Illinois, but yeah. At least you can see out here in the summertime when all the crops are up. You can't really see very far, but you can right now. That's for sure. Yeah, and that's probably kind of true about a dog running. A dog could run away all half the day here, and you could watch him go.
Yep. No doubt. Thursday's payout also, you talk about $35 entry fee, $738 would have been what you got if they were MRHA members. I think one of them was not, so he missed out on a good little chunk of that there. But $738 on $35 entry fee. I don't know what percentage that is, but it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I know. What is their membership fees? Anybody can become a member. They can
$20.
$20, $25, $20 or $25. Yeah.
Good slick looking hats there. I know you got you a hat
I
there.
did
I see it on
one.
the dashboard.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yep.
The final four that made it in there: Grand Night champion, Grand champion Schooner River Atta Girl Addie, owned by William Wood and Justin Wallace. Then we had a national Grand Night champion from up in Indiana, Hannah's Creek Dolly, Mike Carmack and Lance Belcher, with Daryl Workman handling that dog. Had Honeycutt's Ball and Buck, owned by Steve Honeycutt of Missouri. And then a blue dog, Rhodes Southern Blue Smoke, owned by Daryl Rhodes and Cole Sullivan. Cut off for there, even with 137 dogs, was $325. So pretty darn manageable.
Yep. 2 coons.
Yep.
Yeah, so congratulations to all those guys. Appreciate everybody comes up there and supports them. And I love to see when the area clubs like this, Enid Lake and the state association, can capitalize. Hey, the hunters want to go hunt anyways, might as well make it a licensed event, and everybody kind of wins here.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So then Friday morning is kind of the start of the main show. We get up early on Friday morning. Got to be there bright and early for people wanting to get on the grounds. All the vendors are set up at this point. They've came in on Thursday to get all their stuff set up and start out with the show bright and early. And man, it was a great crowd this year. I guess we haven't mentioned it on here, but the pre-entry was up. Usually sits around in the mid-50s in the past 4, 5, 6 years. Looking back at some numbers, and this year 115 dogs were pre-entered in the show, not counting pairs. That's just in the license portion.
Yeah, and then I think we don't have those numbers in front of us at the moment, so we have another truckload of staff. I called Nicole to ask her what those numbers were, and I think she said right at 270 overall, and that does not include the top 10.
Yeah.
And she counted the we had pairs, and she said that's counted as one entry. 2 dogs is one entry, but so around 270 entries without top 10 by counting entries. So good show, good numbers again. Sure appreciate that, and all the folks that came out. Good judges this year. Had Sid Underwood from Texas came up, he judged the show Saturday. We had a new one, Scott Rawson from Illinois. He judged Friday, and then those two obviously helped judge they were on the panel of judges for the top 10. And then the third person, we had Alan Kalal, one of our field reps, scheduled to judge that, and his father-in-law ended up being in the hospital, and he needed to stay home, and so we put another field rep in, brought him in off the bench, so to speak.
That's what he
Jamie
says.
Eastep.
Yep. And he did a good job.
His friends, I saw his friends gave him a hard time. He's reminded him that he wasn't our first choice.
Good. Yeah, who needs enemies when you have friends like that? Yeah, but you mentioned Scott. He was there Friday morning when we had our registered in pairs, and if we talk about the overall pairs right now, it was actually the this is the English Hounds. The English pair is the one who brought home the overall, with champion Renegade Swamps Ain't a Bad Day, Kristen Gordon, and champion Confirmation Grand Champion Skylines Everything She Ain't by Megan O'Connor owns that hound. So that was our overall pair winners. And then our registered best male of show was Hat Creek Royal Ruger, a blue tick owned by Richie and Amy McDonald.
Out of Ohio.
Hold that thought, because Friday was going to be a big day for that pair. We'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
Best female of show was Skyline's Most Wanted, owned by Beth Jenkins. And Beth has just kind of been on a heater the past few years with, no, it doesn't matter what dog she brings to the ring. She's got a great breeding program going on, and she's doing something right.
Yeah, for sure. She's got a lot of nice dogs. She's usually got several handlers, then handling their dogs. She partners with a couple others, and they bring some nice dogs to the show. They're always going to be tough to beat, that's for sure.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, Saturday morning we started out with our champion class, had a little kids show in between, and then went to the grand champions. And Mr. Sid Underwood from Paris, Texas came and did that for us. And that's really the first time I met him. I got to talk to him at length. I carved out about 20 minutes to talk to him, pick his brain on some stuff, and I really enjoyed my conversation with him. You talk about a well-spoken guy, an intelligent guy, and not just intelligent about stuff in the world, but also about dogs.
He is, and I've known him for a long time, and I love just sitting there and just talking to him. He doesn't he'll talk to anybody, and a good guy to listen to and hear him talking about dogs and this and that. I had the opportunity to sit up there, I think Friday during the show. He sat up there in the top of the bleachers there on the concourse, one of the chairs up there on the concourse, and just talked to him for a while. But yeah, he's an avid Dallas Cowboys ticket holder. He loves the Cowboys. Yeah. He's a Texas guy through and through.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no doubt about that. But he's just even keeled. He's just methodical, and you saw him judge the show probably a little bit Saturday, and we'd be out there on the concourse. He's just going at his speed, and it's not he doesn't slow down or speed up. It's just that speed, but he went through them fairly quickly, I'd say, really.
Yeah, and picked a good lineup of dogs here. I'm looking at his champion winners here. His champion male was champion confirmation champion Rag Mountain, Still in Your Thunder, owned by Katie and Jason Woodward. So a plot hound from Virginia over there. And the champion female was champion Southbound Apple Bottom Jeans, owned by Hunter Booth. Another plot.
Yeah.
They kind of cleaned up the champion division. Like I said, the kids show was next, kind of a little non-licensed deal to get them in there, and you were down there for that. I know, were you emceeing it? I think.
I was. I grabbed a wireless mic there and started at the entrance there, and I asked every kid their name and their dog's name, and I don't know how many. So we had 7 benches out there, and I think we did 3 full rounds. So there were 20-some kids that came through there. But Jamie Eastep, our field rep, and Nicole, they were in there, and they had the medallions for the kids and judged their dogs. That's always a fun little thing. The kids love it. Yeah. And probably there's some cute little girls showing dogs, but probably the one that kind of stands out to me is this young boy wearing his bib overalls, and he's got his Freddie dog, and he's all business, man. He's maybe, I don't know, he might have been 4, but he was all business with it. He and his mom took his dog up through there, and it was a big time for him. Yeah. But you got to do that. It's fun.
That's kind of right in the middle of when we're up there putting casts together, so I missed that. But I know at the staff dinner last night, got to see some pictures and videos that people had, and it looked like it was pretty enjoyable for everybody who got to see that.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, the grand champions, the main event of it all, came into the ring, and the grand champion male, and I was kind of tickled for this. We talked about in the top 10 preview about a local dog to there, Felicia and Tony Bailey. They're from there in Mississippi, close by, and they've had a really good couple years. They go to a lot of events all over the country, and they ended up winning grand champion male this year with their black and tan grand champion 4 Cobra Time 007.
Yeah, and that's a nice dog, and they're just great folks, and always very positive and always smiling and just happy, friendly people. And it's good to see folks like that win, And they had already selected her as the winner. It was before the overall, I think it was. And I walked by her crating area there, and you could tell she was just giddy. She was just all giddied up. But that's Felicia.
Yeah, she got her certificates, I think, and went shopping. She had a whole armload of stuff when we were packing up there before cast calls.
Yep, and her husband's always right there with her, supporting her. They're also horse people, I think. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I think they're somehow they do some horse stuff, I think.
Yeah. And then the grand champion female, and this one was no surprise to see, a dog that was absolutely on fire all last year, and looks like it's came over into this year as well. Grand champion Hall of Fame Drake's Windstorm, owned by Beth Jenkins and Bridget Clary. That's a tree and walker out of Virginia.
Yeah, another beautiful dog, and she looked good in that lineup. And that was actually, I watched that that class of Walker females. That's just a nice class of dogs right there. Absolutely was, but yeah.
And then you bring the 6 category winners back in, and Mr. Sid had his work cut out for him to pick this year's overall Winter Classic Bench Show champion. And the selection this year was champion Southbound Apple Bottom Jeans, the plot female owned by Hunter Booth, and he's up in New York.
Yeah, he's a little ways up there, but I don't really know him that well. Just in the last several years, I've seen him at the shows and stuff, and he likes to show dogs, and he has some good ones. He teamed up with Wayne Steele in Virginia. I think he's got his world champion Dibs up there.
Yeah.
He's been playing around with him, some putting him in some other shows and some this and that. But yeah, he's. I think I've seen him with some English hounds maybe, but yeah, he brought some nice plots down, and congratulations to him. They ended up winning the overall.
Absolutely. And we didn't have a chance. It seemed like the show may have ran a little long this year, or
It
maybe
did a little bit.
Didn't have a chance to sit down with him there at the venue, but got to reach out with him the days after the event. So got to talk to him a little bit about his big win. So here's my interview with Hunter Booth. All right, guys. Now we got the pleasure of having our bench show winner from this past weekend's Winter Classic on here with us, Mr. Hunter Booth, coming off your big win. How you feeling, man?
Feeling pretty good. It's always one of those things that you hope to win, and that you just think about winning, but it's hard to accomplish.
Yeah, this hound, Southbound Apple Bottom Jeans, that you were able to win with. I'm not sure I've seen that hound around very much. I've seen you push some other hounds around the country. This one here, just a younger hound, or what's her story?
She's a younger hound. She's actually off from the first plot that I got. I co-owned her mother with Christina Officer, and it seems like she always goes. So at least this time she didn't come in heat, and she's a good little dog. She's made show champion at a plot section in New York State, and she had a win at Autumn Oaks a couple years ago. She won the breed. So and she won New York State a couple years ago. So I figured last year, I said I was the year to push her. So
You made your rounds with her a little bit then. Can you tell me a little bit about her lineage? I know I'm putting you on the spot there a little bit, but a little bit of what she's out of.
So she's out of the county line breeding. She's off from the old Genie dog I used to show, and I co-owned with Christina. I won quite a bit with her, and she's off county line Franklin. So she's pretty much a carbon copy in my eyes of her mother. Maybe she's a little bit better than her mom, but I had a lot of fun with her mom back when I was a little bit younger, and now it's time to have a little bit more fun with her.
For sure. And start off the week by winning champion female. Tell me a little bit about that. I'm sure I didn't get to watch a lot of the show, but I'm sure that was a pretty competitive field. I know there was a lot of top females there in the champion category.
Oh yeah, there was for sure a lot of top females there. There was I tell you, the plot breed, there's 2 champion females there, but there was a really nice champion female. I have absolutely always thought the world of her. That's owned by Rita Ellis, the Gracie female. And then you go and you win that, and you go in for champion females. You got the lineup with big handlers like Mike Seats, who always has a good dog. Then of course, after you make it, you end up having the pleasure of winning that. It gets harder and harder as it goes on a little bit. But there's plenty of nice dogs. You could go with any one of them pretty much, and ain't nobody's gonna bat an eye.
For sure. And then you guys get a little bit of break to sit there and kind of gather yourself before you go into the finals there. I know you've been doing this game for a while, but that had to be a little bit nerve-wracking going in there with the other 5 category winners for the overall. The butterflies were probably flying around in your stomach a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. You go in there, and especially you put the dog up, you watch what happens in champion males, and I know Katie Woodward ended up winning it with her plot male, so plot power had to represent a little bit. And you go in there and you're thinking, well, if you win this, then you go there and you just want to win the breed. That's the biggest thing. Anything else on top of that, it's just extra. So if you win breed, you did a good job. If you win champion or you win grand, you've done an even better job. If you win overall, you've done a great job. So.
For sure, man, for sure. And I gotta wonder up there in New York this time of year, it probably cannot be very easy to get a dog in shape for it to compete at this level. What does that regimen look like for you trying to keep a hound ready for an event right here in the winter?
So my bad part is I like to get them real heavy in the wintertime. So a lot of the times it's trying to saying, oh, well, Winter Classics in a month and a half. I better extend it. It's a lot of stuff like wrong. Jean, for example, she lives in the house, so she's not out in the elements or anything like that. So it's a lot of conditioning. It's a lot of watching how much food intake they have and cutting them down a little bit before the big shows, doing their nails, just keeping up on standard maintenance stuff. Luckily for me, naturally she stays in pretty decent shape, so she doesn't have to do too much extra stuff. But I'm excited to see what else she could accomplish this year and go from there.
Yeah, an easy keeper probably comes in handy up there. For you, the plot breed here, kind of, I see you showing both plots and English. How did you get into those two breeds specifically? Just by chance, or mentors or relationships you have with folks up there?
So I started in English when I was real young. My dad, he used to show coonhounds when I was a kid, or when he was a kid, and he showed them, and he always showed plots for somebody. He never had his own. He always showed the plots. Well, for Father's Day one year, he wanted an English coonhound. So me and my sister, we went to these people's house with him, and he wanted a male dog, and I'm not a male dog person. I'm a female dog person by far. So we refused to leave until we got this female dog. And after that, I saved up a bunch of money and went out and bought my first English coonhound. And a few years back, I went to Grand American. I bought a plot home, and I got her right off Christina. It was County Line, Harper Valley. Her name's Jeannie, and she was a wonderful dog herself. Me and Christina, we co-owned her, and I said, well, I'll hold on to her for a little while, and then I kind of fell in love with her a little bit, and she fell in love with me. So she's done some good. She's produced genes, of course. Truman is out of her, so she's done her job as a reproducer by far, but she was always just a good old gal.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So now you got to, and sorry, I might have missed it. How old is the Jean's dog here?
She's 3 years old, so she's about hitting her prime. She's a really nice little female. She's almost a carbon copy of her mom. Just she's a little smaller, a little bit better of a foot in the rear. She's got angles to die for. She's just a good old dog. She's always in the house kind of raising havoc. She's got a personality at home, to say the least. She's a little hard to deal with sometimes, but
yeah, she's young yet. So you got a couple of years here left of her prime, right? What kind of plans do you have for her? You got to focus on some shows. Do you have some future crosses in mind already? What's the future for Jeans look like?
so I have the idea. I got it last year, right before the World Show time. I said, next year I'm going to push her. I'm going to get her qualified for the World Show, and I'm going to show her at the World. So I said I'm going to do that and give her a good chance, and at least go out there and try to win the plot breed and give her as best a chance as you can. And then there's a little bit of something in the works, cross-wise, a little secret cross in the works, and to see how that works. But first, I want to give her at least a good 2 years to get her pushing and hopefully win some more events with her and get her out there.
Yeah, good start to this year. Got her this category win here at the Winter Classic will put you in good shape for the top 10, and a lot of other things out there. Good start to the year, man. I gotta congratulate you on that. You got any final words for anybody out there listening? On you want to let anybody know?
Oh, just bring your dogs to the shows. You can't win it without going there. I almost actually didn't travel down to Winter Classic. I had to leave before a snowstorm, so I had to travel down a little early and get them out there. But you can't win if you don't try. I mean, you got to start somewhere. You go to those big shows. You learn for the ones that are coming up, ones that are just starting. Go to the big shows. Watch the big name handlers, the people that have done it for years. There's always really good mentors you can find. There's some excellent handlers out there for sure. And most people are willing to help you out and tell you what the ropes are and everything else. But I think I'll be back next year for Winter Classic. She wasn't in the top 10 this year, so I say I better go down there and show her in the top 10 next year.
There you go, man. You're in a good shape for that. Well, Hunter, man, I appreciate it. I know you're still trying to get home from Winter Classic, man. But I congratulate you. What a great win to start out the year here, and congratulations, Hunter Booth and Southbound Apple Bottom Jeans, the 2025 Winter Classic overall bench show champions.
Thank you.
Alan, you've been feeding Eukanuba dog feed for a while now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have, and I've really been able to put my beagles to the test, mainly running snowshoe hare up north where they run the hardest, where I put 15, 20, 25 miles on them easily in a day. And I've found that the premium performance sport has really paid dividends. Mainly, I noticed their stamina.
Yeah, same feed that I've been feeding. I think my dog looks good on it. He's really feeling good, and less kennel cleanup for me, so I highly recommend it as well.
Eukanuba, the official performance dog nutrition partner of UKC.
Now we're going to backtrack a little bit. We've talked about the license portion of the show. Now we're going to go back to Friday night and one of my favorite shows of the year. I've said that multiple times, but just way different than any other show of the year, and that's the Top 10 Bench Show. When you got to qualify for, you got to get invited there for it. You have to run the roads all year and accrue points, and you get the top echelon dogs of each breed there competing against each other for their portion of a $15,000 payout.
Yeah, several weeks ago we had a couple of weeks ago we did recorded a podcast with talking about all of those dogs. So I urge folks to go back, if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to that. We cover every dog that was in the top 10 for each breed, so 71 dogs we covered, I think. But those were the dogs in the running, and you're right. It's one of those favorite shows that I look forward to. We do it a little different. It's in the evening and kind of try to make a big deal out of it. And it's just set up different. There's a panel of 3 judges that judge them, and not just they don't all look at them, judge them at the same time. One dog comes into ring number 1 and gets an evaluation from that judge. The dog moves right over to the second ring, another evaluation from the second judge, and down to the third and final judge. And then they give it a score of such. We kind of give them a scoring system to go by, or a scale to go by, and then we tally up those points, and that's the dog score, basically, is what it amounts to from those 3 judges. And it actually works pretty well. And when you look at those points and everything, especially again this year,
yeah,
wow, man, some of those were so close. There were a couple of them that were within a point or 2 of each other.
1 point here or there could have been a major tipping point,
and it did
in this show.
Sure was.
Yeah. And you've mentioned Sid, Scott, and Jamie were the 3-person panel. They had some really good stewards.
Yeah.
Namely, Jamie Stewart is really skilled, looked like.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So you were a steward.
I was a steward.
Jenna, your
My
wife
Jenna was a steward.
And then let me see who else. Oh, Chaz. One of the guys from registration. Yeah.
No. That's a whole long day. Friday is a very long day. We get there super early. Everything's set up. It's it's a big show. The Friday's always the biggest hunt, and then right after you get done calling cash, you think you're gonna come down off that high, but no, let's break it apart, and we're gonna start the top 10 bench show, and then you don't get out of there till plumb near 9:30. Seems like.
Yeah, and it's another thing we do a parade of all of them to begin
Yes.
with, and that's when we name all of the dogs that are coming through one after the other. They parade them through there, turn the lights down, turn on some spotlights, put them on the dogs, and it's kind of fun. But after that, there's no more announcing until they're all done showing.
Yeah, that's right.
And then once we've tallied up the scores and everything, then we call up the handlers, owners, whatever the connections for each one of the winning dogs. They come back into the ring. So there's always a lot of suspense. And just before we go to name them the other night again, or Friday night again, before we did that, you could heard a pin drop again.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Tension is thick in there.
Yeah, it is. And it's, man, it's exciting for them. It's just a little different. And it's kind of become a very exciting show for sure. And then they bring back the final 7, and they go through them one more time, and each one of them, they give each one and during that they all come up at the same time.
Yeah.
They go through them and give them all a score, and based on that, that's how we determine our winner.
Well, let's put this into perspective a little bit. You talk about does the format of this work? Do you get the 7 best dogs theoretically according to the judges that day? Is the caliber of dog there? Let's take a look at the final lineup here. The Black and Tan breed winner, National Grand Champion, World Show Champion, Grand Champion 2, Gilman's Good Time Blues, owned by Dave and Kelly Myers in Pennsylvania. I'd say that was a pretty good selection there.
It was probably hard to get away from, for sure.
Leopard breed winner was Champion Moody Blues, owned by Curtis Elbert and Becky Rod of Indiana, and handled by Andy in the early round, and I believe Nikki took over in the final 7 there, the sister, Nikki Matthews. Who was our top leopard point earner during the year after a good category win at Autumn Oaks this past year. English breed winner was Grand Champion Wills Mountain Dusty Rhodes, owned by Jacob Brooks of Virginia and handled by his sister Jordan Brooks, ace handler. Plot Hound breed winner was Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion 2, Grand Water Champion, Rag Mountain Ace in the Hole, owned by Katie and Jason Woodward of Virginia and handled by Katie. So we're talking about a great lineup so far. And then we get to the Redbone winner, another World Show Champion, National Grand Champion, Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion 3, Wabash River Lost Highway, owned by Andy and Keith Emery and Curtis Elburn and Nikki Matthews. The Emerys are in North Carolina, and Andy handled that dog both rounds. So another World Show and Autumn Oaks winner. And then rounding it out for the Tree and Walkers was Confirmation Grand Champion 2, Mermaid Valley Terror in the Wind, owned by Connie Bigley and Sabrina Ray of Missouri and handled by Sabrina. And then there's just one missing. If you guys were paying attention, did you notice the breed that I skipped? It was
the Blue Tick, I think.
The Blue Tick, the overall winner, and the winner of the $3,000 check. The rest of them got $2,000, but the overall winner was Grand Champion 2, Hat Creek Papa Top Stylish Chrome. The Blue Tick, owned by Amy and Rich McDonald of Ohio and handled by Amy. What a win! She has been a supporter of this program ever since its inception, and especially with the payout and what talking to her a little bit, what she thought it's brought to back to the clubs around getting participation in the shows, and she came out and won the dang thing.
Yeah, she's had blue ticks. She had black and tans at one time. She won the World Show before, back in the day, a long time ago, with a black and tan named Cowboy. But yeah, she's had blue ticks for a good long time, some nice ones, and it's a big win for sure.
Yeah. So
you had the chance to talk to her, I think.
I did. I was able to get her again. Had to do it over the phone, but here's going to be a little interview with Amy.
All right, everybody. I'm here with the top 10 bench show winner this year, Miss Amy McDonald. What's going on, Amy? How are you feeling today?
Recovery mode, but I think we all probably that have been at the event. It was a great event overall, but I think everyone Monday morning is trying to find their bearings. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If I was thinking, we would have tried to pull you in there Friday night, but man, Friday is not much better. It's a long day, and by the time the bench show ends and everybody's packing up, it's 9:30 at night, and everybody's pretty tired. But was that your first time competing in the top 10 show?
Yes, I had never. I just watched it online when some of the broadcast was done last year, and I actually thought that's really neat. I'd like to be a part of that, so I was glad to get to see it, and that piqued my interest. But I want to put a plug in for it definitely because it's even better in person. I really enjoy. Of all the events, I've been doing this a couple years, and of all the events in all my time, that was my most enjoyable event that I've ever been to, actually, for bench showing.
Well, I really appreciate that, and Friday turned out to be a pretty good day for you, although a long one. I know you ended up winning best male of show early on Friday afternoon with your Ruger male, and then later in the day you end up winning the top 10 show with Chrome. I guess real quick before we get to the main piece of it, you want to talk about your win with Ruger a little bit while we have you on here? Might as well.
Well, thank you. Yes, your registered classes, you've got a lot of dogs coming in. I love seeing the up and comers. And so you never know what might show up. And Ruger had a great Autumn Oaks. He thankfully won Best Male of Show under Judge Penny Turner. And so we were coming in, and some of us give each other some static ahead of the event, like they're coming for you, or I mean, just teasing each
Yeah,
other. So
sure.
that's always kind of fun. And but there were some Walker dogs for sure I was keeping in mind of. But Ruger got through the breed, and just we got very blessed too. He showed well in Best Male of Show, I thought, and he gated very well for me. I was happy with his performance that day, and we were blessed to be chosen again. And he's got a little record there, so hopefully he'll keep rolling. And we've hunted him some this coon season too, and I think that's the only thing that's been difficult is I have forgotten. I haven't been to the Winter Classic since I come back out of Oklahoma, and it's definitely harder to prepare dogs for the event in the north. We've been really blessed with some terrible bad cold weather, and so it's been a little difficult, and that was challenging. But it makes it those challenges make you work a little different too. So it worked out.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting to me. I don't want to take up a ton of time this morning, but having not really ever competed on the national show level, what does that preparation look like? You got these two males heading to a big show, and in the weeks leading to the event, it's negative degrees outside. It's in freezing. You got snow and ice. How do you even prepare your hounds like that? Just what does that look like? A little snapshot. You don't have to tell us all your trade secrets. We don't want to let the competition know that, but
Well, it's definitely, like I said, easier in the summer. The younger dog, I don't have to treadmill him as much. Chrome is not, there's just a year difference, but when they're young, you don't have to do as much because of the natural muscling. Chrome is on a treadmill 3 to 4 days a week. And, but actually, the feeding is probably the most tricky because you kind of have to have them a little heavy because of the cold. Regardless, dogs are in and out of it. And I do shut down any hunting. I mean, which we kind of got shut down anyway, but um, at least 3 weeks out from a national show. And because you either get scarred up or I mean, and every little thing, a blemish counts to me. I'm picky, some people say, but when you're traveling that far and got that much invested, you want to have your dog prepared the very best. So I take mine in a little chubby because I know they're probably not going to get to eat on their regular schedule and all that because of just the timing of we show all day long. And but mainly just using a treadmill in the wintertime, you're stuck to up here.
yeah, sure. Yeah, Ruger, good start to his career there. But let's shift gears to Chrome a little bit. Chrome, the past couple years seems to be at every major event. He's super competitive in any event he does. Can you tell me a little bit about his background and his lineage and pedigree a little bit?
Sure, I'd love to. I have always, even when I was ever, some may not know, but I started in black and tans. I enjoy hunting, more so pleasure hunting, love starting pups. So I am always looking for a dual purpose dog. Um, all dogs don't make it in the woods, whatever. Or some dogs may be limited. Chrome deals with some allergies, so he's a little bit food allergy, so he's a little limited in the hunting realm when I can hunt him or what I can do with him. However, he has definitely been hunted and treated coot, and I'm going to throw a little blurb in here for Katie Wood. Her and I were at a AKC show in Indy last weekend, and she run up behind me. We're in the group ring, and she run up with the coontail. I had no idea, and she run up there, and he saw the coontail before I ever did. I'm about to do my individual exam. He wheels around and lunges toward her and almost started baying her. And it scared her. I was like, no, he knows what that is. So it was quite funny. We had a little laugh again there. That's a classic. But I enjoy that part of it. So I'm always looking for a dual purpose dog to breed to. And actually, my husband, Richie, turned me on to the Grand Night Champion Racket Ridge Crash dog a few years back. And so Poppy has been hunted just a little bit, enough to run in Triacoon. That's the mother's side of it. And I bred her. She's out of she's actually was a 6th generation for me, out of the Papa Top dogs. And she was a semen puppy out of Papa Top again. So, but I wanted to put her, I know he had told me, Richie had told me Crash was a natural tree dog, and I like the lineage. He's a nice houndy looking dog, and for what Poppy needed structurally, Crash looked like he'd work. Every female doesn't work with every dog, so with every stud dog, and they definitely hit 5 out of 6 of those puppies are pretty much built the same. But Chrome, he's named Chrome because as a baby he was always real flashy, and I think the thing that I love the most about him is how happy he is. He loves to show, and he loves people.
Yeah, I did remember that he was out of Crash, and we're working on a reproduction series now, more so on the hunting side of things, and his reproduction records as far as titled pups the past couple of years kind of speaks for itself, and it's kind of cool that he can throw the confirmation into the hounds when mixed on your line of dogs. So that's kind of a neat plug for that there. Chrome, so I know he's won several major events already, been in contention for some major awards. Can you walk me through maybe some of his accomplishments before we get to the top 10 show?
Sure. He has won Blue Tick Days King of Show twice now. Chrome is coming a 3-year-old here in a couple days, so he really maxed. He's most of mine are 15, 16 months before I can start him. I was able to start him right at a year. He's won Ashland Blue Tick sectional there in the spring. That can be fairly competitive.
Sure.
And Blue Tick Days, he's won. Last year he got the BBCHA King of Show too, and we were blessed. We were showing a Snap. She's another Crash puppy out of Richie's Pearl female, and he got her titled. And I just want to throw a mention, because you're doing that series on Crash. She is she's the only one I know. You may know of one, but she's qualified for the top 10 and the TOC. So I thought that's pretty neat to accomplish with her, because she's young too, a 3-year-old. But he's done very, very well at the Blue Tick Days events. He's also titled in AKC very early on. I was kind of limited in showing him some last year because, quite frankly, we have dealt with some allergies, like I mentioned, and figuring that out has been a trial. But he's back. I finally got it figured out with my help from my vet from Oklahoma, and so we've got him figured out, and I'm thankful for that, to be able to move forward with him. So.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty unique, or a very small list for Snap there. Being qualified for both of those, that's a great accomplishment. So congratulations to you guys for that. But yeah, he's swept the Blue Tick stuff, and man, sometimes you forget how young some of these hounds are at the major level. Was he just the young dog you brought in when you judged Hunting Beagle World or Nationals a couple years ago when I was there helping Alan, and you did the little demonstration?
Yes, yeah, I've forgotten about that actually, and I guess he did. He won the Purina race his first year out as a yearling, and a lot of people, I'd be standing with folks that had yearlings too, and they would say, well, this dog's young, and I thought I've just been very blessed, Trevor, that he peaks so young that he could compete that way because of his size and everything. But yeah, that was Chrome way back then even. So
well, let's shift gears here and look at the top 10 show. It had only 5 of the Blue Ticks go in there. But man, the 5 that were in there, it looked like a really competitive show. I know the scoring was pretty close, but he was able to come out. You probably didn't have a chance while you're in there competing to look at some of your competitors in the Blue Tick show, but probably a pretty good representation of the breed and and a good moment for blue ticks out there with those, but able to squeak that out, and that's the first step, is getting that $2,000 check. Where you're feeling pretty good when you edged out the blue tick side of things.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, just the event in general, you guys had some background music playing, and that dog is so happy to show. And one of the English guys outside the ring, I believe it was when I was under Judge Rawson, I was singing along with the music, and Chrome is just so happy and easy and natural gaiting. He caught me. He said, "I seen you were singing along." I said, "I was just having a good time out there." So, and that's why I want to stress, if people, look to come to that event, it was kind of laid back, and just because I actually thought, what, this is going to be tough. You got to show 3 times really quick and get them set up, and I thought it would be long and more tedious, and it actually wasn't. It went very quick. I had a great time, and so just sat visiting with people while till the winners were announced. And honestly, it was I felt blessed to be there, be a part of it. And so however it came, I knew my dog performed very well. He's very consistent. And but yeah, I mean, of course you're happy when your name's called, of course. So
Sure.
happy for the dog.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I didn't. Well, every time that this top 10 shows happen since I've been there, the final lineup is always stacked. There's a lot of good looking hounds in there. I guess I didn't really realize the extent of how much this final 7 was stacked until I read I think it was Andy Emery's post afterwards about it being one of the more flashy line of 7 hounds that she's ever been a part of. And when you look at the list, you got a couple world champions, you got a couple Autumn Oaks national grand champions, dogs that have won categories at Autumn Oaks Winter Classic, dogs that have won their breed day championships and state championships and major shows all across the country. When you look back at that list of dogs and who you're competing against, it has to feel pretty good to be a part of that.
Absolutely, yes. Of course, as I'm walking in the ring, yes, I knew 2 national grands and 2 world show champions were in the ring. Nice dogs. I mean, you're honored just to be in that final lineup. And so however it comes down, again, I had confidence in my dog to show. He's always going to gait and show well, thankfully, and enjoy that moment to be out there with all the people competing. But yeah, when you're going in, you have a couple in mind. There was one dog in particular that I thought, ooh, that one's showing good tonight. So, but then you just dial in and do your job kind of for your dog. So, but yeah, it was nice, very nice lineup, some nice hounds out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the scoring is private to protect the judges at the moment. But looking at the scores here, I'm able to see them right now, and it was really competitive, very close. But when they called your name, that had to feel pretty good to win the overall show against a lineup like that.
Definitely. Again, just congratulations to all the other breed winners. I think a couple of the sweetest moment of the whole event was when Miss Jordan Brooks come crying out there to get her trophy. That really touched me. And then the Black and Tan crew, while they were waiting for the finals to be announced, they're back there snapping a picture. The whole group got together, and that impressed me a lot about that breed. And so there are some great takeaways that only if you're there you get to see. But yeah, when they called his name, I just felt very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I've had several blue tickers reach out and just say, "Hey, thanks for bringing it home for the blue tick since he's been
awesome.
The first one." That's quite an honor. So they've been excited about that too. And then I had a couple folks even shout out because it's coming back to Ohio. So it's nice to see people rooting for you. And but just it's an honor because there were some tough dogs in the ring that night.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance really to talk to Scott or Sid either in length about judging the show, but obviously Jamie Estep, the third judge down there, he was our field rep, so he actually switched gears and he was on the hunt side Saturday. And while we're up there confirming dogs and kind of have a little bit of lag time, he was talking about Chrome, how in that he judged him in blue tick days last year or a couple years ago or something. He said that tonight in that final round, while he's looked good in the other ones, he thought he put on an absolute show in that final round and didn't know if he could show any better than he did. Did you notice that at all, or is that something that you have to have an outside perspective to see?
Chrome is very good and flashy on the ground, and I know that. I was trained a long time ago by some professional handlers, thankfully, when I was in my early 20s. And that's why I'm putting him over into the conformation shows as I am. But he loves a crowd. I had a dog a long time ago, Cowboy Bill, and I don't know if you knew him or not, but he was a
I
black
do
and
know the
tan.
history of him. Yep.
Yeah, and Miss Natalie Drake and I used to swing it out under. I believe you're related to Mr. Gene Hicks.
I am. Yes, I am.
Yes. So Gene judged us, and Natalie with her Miss Finley River Miss Tammy, and Cowboy Bill went head to head in '97 under Gene at Alabama. So. And she loved Bill, and I love Miss Tammy. So I love competition. I feel like that's how the sport should be. Two good dogs, but Natalie's fierce. You have to have your game on as a handler, and so did I. And when I brought Chrome out originally, and she first seen him, she said to me, "Boy, he reminds me of a blue Cowboy Bill." And I said, "Yes, he loves the crowd." You can't. Some dogs. It's unfortunate. Sometimes dogs just don't like it. And he not only loves showing like Bill did and loves hearing the clap of the crowd but he loves people. If you get anywhere near him and I let him come to you, he will rub up against you, lick you. I mean, so he almost a little, but he's literally that friendly, and it makes him just a joy to show. But he steps up the pace if he can feel the excitement. Yes, absolutely.
I love that. I love that. And he's still young yet. You said still just 3 years old. Has someone left in the tank? Do you have some other before we sign off here? Do you have some other plans for him in the near future?
Yes, we will. This year the goals for him will be some of the breed events again, and then the nationals in the world. And I am going to show him a little bit more. I would like to get him in the top 5 as far as the AKC side of it, where he could be invited to Westminster. He's a dog that I believe we might be able to get the breed up there. There's some other handlers and competitive side of it, but I believe he definitely could play ball in his breed. And but you also that may be a 4-year-old mission too. We'll see what we get accomplished this year. The dog will have probably, being a 3-year-old, he'll have at least 2 to 3 more really good years on him. And then, they all start to decline. Once they hit about 7, they start showing some age and whatever. So, but regardless, we're going to have fun. And if anyone ever wants to meet the dog, he'd be happy to meet you for sure. So he's just friendly.
Yeah. Well, I could pick your brain on them hitting their peak and their physical peak before they start breaking down for an hour and listen to you talk about it. You have a wealth of knowledge on dogs, and I enjoy talking to you. But I know for the sake of this episode, we got to keep it a little shorter for the Winter Classic recap here. But I want to close it off saying congratulations on your win. Good luck with everything in the future. And you and Chrome going to be $3,000 richer. I'm about to put the check request in here in about 10 minutes for you guys. So my final congratulations to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity and all that the UKC staff did and the judges to put on the event. I know it was a lot of work and a lot of doing, but it was, like I said, incredibly nice to be a part of. So thank you again.
Thank you, Amy. Hope you have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, Alan, I don't know if you've been messing around with this new Houndsman Advantage app at all, but I've been playing with it some, and it has some really cool features on it. One, it has the interactive scorecard view where you can assign strike and tree points at the touch of a button, and it automatically totals your scores after each set of points are scored and valued.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. Some of the features that I like is that you can access the rules and that it comes with a search function to easily find any specific rule. Also like that there's a place for your dog's registration numbers, and you can store pictures of your easy entry cards. I like that you can track 2 dogs' performances when out pleasure hunting. You'll find some analytics on your dogs. You can record their accuracy, win percentages, and a whole lot of things like that.
No more lying here on this app. The last thing about the scorecard I'll talk about is it has the summary view as well, where you can see the total points you have and the pending points that you have, along with tree timers for each dog. So it's going to come in handy for judges as well. So check it all out on the new Houndsman Advantage app. And congratulations to Amy again on her big win there. Going to move forward now to the hunt. I know a little bit more about the hunt since I was actually able to see it kind of play out rather than the show. I didn't get to see much of it, but I do know Friday had a really strong entry. 390 dogs entered, 340 actually went to the woods. Saturday, 366 entered, 293 went to the woods. That's a total of 756 entries, which I will definitely take that. 633 hunted. Man, that's a lot of dogs, and I gotta give shout out to the host clubs offering us guide support. Of course, Enid Lake there off the grounds, Mr. Ronnie Stark, always available. He's always got a couple guides on standby. Mr. Jackie Jones and Mickey Greer were up there in the hunt office all weekend, just in case somebody came back. So we appreciate Ronnie and the entire Enid Lake crew and all the locals from there that guide off the grounds. Maybe their club wasn't shouted out or mentioned, but there's a lot of clubs that are affiliated with this event. Then we have our satellite clubs. First, you have the Vardaman Club, Midway Coon Hunters. Darren Tedder is my go-to guy there, and just an easy guy to work with. You instead of me calling and asking him how many guides he has, he just asked me how many guides I need, and I sure appreciate that.
Yeah, he's always been that way from the first year that we've had it there, and it's good to have somebody like Darren helping you out for sure. Yeah. Appreciate it very much. Takes guys. We got to have guys like that can help us help get us some guide support, and he sure does his more than his fair share.
Yeah,
and you can count on him.
Yep. And then the Winona Coon Hunters Club in Winona, Mississippi, offer their club support. Ozell Herod, got to know him over the past couple of years, and he's also a good guy to deal with and talk to, and appreciate Winona and their guide support always. And then rounding it out, Marianna, Arkansas, down there, and we should say Gill, Arkansas, right there hitting the Gill. The maps were a little off this year, I guess, or something may have changed in the GPS system. But Marianna, Arkansas, East Arkansas Coon Hunters Association. Philip Herron's been the man to deal with down there for a long time. They had more casts than ever go there this year, I believe. They had 13 hunting guides pre-entered. They had a pile of dogs there. It said he could barely fit them in the clubhouse, but everybody who went there, I know it's a little bit of a drive, but if you went there, you got your belly full with some good food, and you more than likely were in some darn good hunting to tree some coons in. Yeah,
it is the farthest satellite that we have, but it seems every year just more and more guys wanted to go over there, hunt out of there, so we've been sending quite a few over there. Hey, that still goes to show, even though it's further, guys want to go where they have good chances to tree coon. It's not like they can't ride around the local area, but certainly can't put everybody right on top of each other locally there, and hey, Marianna's proved to be a one of their preferred spots, that's for sure, or clubs to go to.
Yeah. So Friday we talked about we had a pretty good pile of dogs, 390 entries. We award top 10 champions, top 10 registered each night. Champion cutoff Friday night was 550 plus, so a pretty fair score. I'd say that's pretty consistent with where it is. And rather than go through every single dog that's won its cash, you guys should go to ukcdogs.com to our standing gun results page, and you can find results from the entire weekend there. While you're at it, maybe swing by the UKC Coonhounds Facebook page, because there's a lot of good content on there, and also on the UKC Hunting Ops Instagram page. I saw a lot of cool videos and little stuff that social media team's doing over there as well. So a lot of good content was out this weekend. But right now we're going to talk about the first place champion on Friday night and give him his roses to speak. And this is Grand Night Champion 3, Roses Wild Dream and Echo, owned by Logan Rose and Logan Estridge of Kentucky. That's a tree and walker male that's had some pretty good luck here, and he won his cast on Friday night with 1,000 plus on the dot.
Yep, and he obviously had a good hunt. You probably know more about it than I did. I looked, or I saw where he posted on his page today about the luck he's had, or the good luck he's had with this dog in Mississippi.
6 for 7.
6 for 7 as far as cast wins down there, and
Not bad.
And I think he said, what, he make 15 trees and has had a coon in every one of them, I think, something like that. He had some stats, some pretty impressive stats.
Over the past 2 years, he's made 15, or Echo's made 15 trees and had 15 coons.
Yeah.
That equates to pretty good success.
It does. And he's a cool cat, a young guy from Kentucky, and just a cool dude. Everybody likes Logan, and he's a hard hunter and got a good dog. Done quite a bit of winning with this dog, and good to see him do well again.
Registered division on Friday night, cut off for the top 10, 350 plus, so pretty manageable to get in there. First place dog was a buddy of ours from down there we can always count on catching up with. That was Brett Stevens. He was handling a dog, Crane Creek's Nighttime Angel, an English female owned by Jason Snellgrove of Missouri, 5 1/4.
Yep, good score there, 5 1/4 to win it. You know, we don't post the scores on the first night or the second night. We actually won't post them until everything's back after Saturday night's on. But yeah, 5 1/4, one registered on Friday night there. And I'll just go ahead and say it. We're covering the first place winners here, but with Angel Saturday night, he came back and put Angel second again.
Yeah,
just short of it, winning the category again.
Not a bad weekend.
Yeah, I'd say a very good weekend.
Yeah. Fast forward to Saturday night again, 366 entries, and I don't know, it had been a little humid, I think, on Thursday and Friday night, and Saturday night, obviously the wind was whipping, and we were actually talking about it a little bit on the road here, trying to keep ourselves awake today with a little bit of conversation. But I don't know. I think sometimes that wind getting out there and picking up some scent of those coons can sometimes help a certain type of dog, and I think we saw a little increase in scores from it.
Yeah, and especially in the upper class, the champion and grand champion class, just had bigger scores coming out of that category, but yeah.
Yeah, the cutoff for champions on Saturday night actually 625 plus. So I would have to go back. Like I said, we're on the road right now. Can't check notes, but I'd say that's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
of a score.
No, I would say so. You know, and remember, these are 2-hour hunts too. So
yeah. And first place champion on Saturday night with a score of 1175 plus was Grand Night champion LTD Crazy River Blackjack, an English male owned by Andrew Fisher of Indiana. Not a bad score. And then in the registered division, the cutoff for the top 10, 250 plus. So maybe and honestly, we looked at it. The registered dogs weren't as many on Saturday night. Probably, I think we had about 18 to 20 cast winners total. First place in the registered division, still 800 plus, which was the high score for a registered dog over the weekend, was champion Smokin' Willie Nelson, a Tree and Walker male owned by Gerald Hess of Missouri. Missouri dogs did pretty darn good this week.
Yeah. So, hey, congratulations again to all of those that placed on Friday and Saturday, both divisions.
Yeah, at the end of everything, you know, we keep up with our double cast winners there, the Triple Crown. This is the kickoff for it. So all the double cast winners here at Winter Classic are in the driver's seat, and hopefully they keep that in mind. They're getting those
100 points. They get 50 points a night for a cast win, so those dogs have 100 points leading the Triple Crown.
Get those dogs qualified for the World Championship, get entered in the zones when that time comes around, and come to Richmond and see us at Autumn Oaks. That's always a good time.
Yeah, hey, real quick here, just for the Triple Crown rules, you have to hunt in all three of our Triple Crown events: Winter Classic, Autumn Oaks. You got to enter and hunt in them, and then the final leg is the World Championship. So
first step's getting qualified for that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen when a dog had points at the Winter Classic and Autumn Oaks and did not qualify for the World?
That's a heartbreaker.
I know.
And a lot of time I talk to those guys.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Dang, nabbit, I guess I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and right now there's 24 dogs setting the pace. That like you said, they've earned 100 points here at Winter Classic, and they're in the driver's seat heading into the next leg.
Yep. But then at the top of that list of double cast winners, that's where we pull our Winter Classic champion from, and that was a 3-year-old English female this year.
That's right. Grand Night champion, Seven Oaks, Hard Time Lola, owned by Jared Lehman and Kyle Stoops. Jared's in Indiana. Kyle actually living up in Maine, but I think he's about to move back towards
Illinois.
The
I think
he
said.
United
Yep.
States.
I think he said Illinois. Yep. So
You got to kind of talk to him in depth.
I did. After we took pictures and all that stuff this morning, I thought you were going to do the interview with him, and you had stayed up all night. You didn't go to bed, I don't think. And you said, "Man, I am just tired and just maybe not as sharp," and asked me to do it, and I was tickled to do it actually. So I sat down with him and with Kyle and Jared, and we talked about their win and about the dog. So have a listen right here.
And did not do any good. My dog got out of pocket. She was like 2 miles. So I got a treat in at like 1.5 miles, but it was outstruck, so we got beaten to pro slams. And then so I gave her a break Thursday night, didn't hunt her, and then Friday night, Saturday, obviously.
Yeah, so on the pro slam on Wednesday night, Thursday night you took a break, and then back to the winter class.
We come down Monday evening. We got here to pleasure hunt and stuff.
All right, hey, the voice you're hearing here is our overall winner of the Winter Classic, Mr. Jared Lehman. Welcome here and congratulations.
Thank you.
And I've also got Kyle Stoops along here. So let's tell us about. Let's pretend we know nothing about Seven Oaks Hard Timed Lola. What should we know about this dog?
Lola's a 3-year-old dog. She is a dog-eyed Cooper and a female called Oakwoods Pepper. And I bought her as a puppy, and I got off for Louis Canoy. It's one of those things that I don't know. I've had a lot of luck with these leftover pups. There's something about it. Cooper, whenever I got him, he was a leftover pup in that litter, and Lola was the same way. There's a couple guys backed out, and I'm like, hey, take that dog off the board. I'll just take her, So I just, I trained her from a puppy, and it wasn't all easy, So we had a little spell there about 1.5 years ago where we had to work through a little bit, and but yeah, she I won English days with her, the female part of English days with her this summer in June, and that was kind of the first big hunt that she would even put in, and we did real good there, and we get lucky down here, I guess.
Yeah, so Kyle Stoops. So how you've been in partnerships for a while, right?
Yes, we're from the same general area, around the Chansey Flat Rock area, and then I moved up to Maine, and I kept coon hunting isn't as prominent up there, and I kept watching the magazine, and I seen this blue dog and this young boy making a run in 2019, and I actually tried to get Jared to handle some dogs for me, but he was so wrapped up in Cooper he couldn't see nothing else. And then Jared got married and sold Cooper, and I went tracking after him, found him down in Texas, and one of those things where I called Jared and I said, hey, I know you've been laying low, but what would you think about a Cooper reunion? And he said, I'd be all for it. I said, good. I bought him. I got a shipper, and he's heading to Jared's. I said, he's heading to your house. Yep. And I'd seen the dog obviously before, but I bought him, paid for him, hauled a shipper, and he dropped him off at Jared's about 7 or 8 days later. I didn't even see the dog after I bought him for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And I had looked at Cooper, he only had like 33 pups. He had a really good reproduction rate, and I did a bunch of research, and I told Jared, I said, if we'll hunt him and get the pups, I said, this thing will absolutely reproduce. And it started from there. And Jared, as everyone knows, is a real hard hunter. And I had a successful business up in Maine, but was not able to hunt. And I was kind of living vicariously through Jared for the last 3 years. And we talk almost every day and keeping things up. And thank goodness this year I'm moving back to Illinois.
Yeah, well, living vicariously through him has been working out pretty well, hasn't it?
Yes, we lined up Morley. I made a bunch of calls. People said he was a hard hunter and he was honest, and he's been a godsend.
Yeah. So where do you live at, Jared?
I live in Lagodi, Indiana.
Southern part of the state.
Yeah.
Pretty much central part, south central, right?
Yeah, most people maybe know of Jasper. I'm like 15 minutes north of Jasper.
Basically Highway 65 down through there, isn't it?
I'm maybe 45 minutes north of 64, which runs east and west.
There you go. So, all right. So, hey, you started talking about you mentioned her lineage a little bit.
Yeah.
So, what is that bottom side? So, Cooper, what does he go back to?
That's a question for Kyle. He is the pedigree guy.
There you go.
Kyle,
what do we got?
Told
here?
everybody.
What are we talking about?
All the time that Kyle is the guy for the pedigrees. I just hunt the dogs.
So Pepper is a litter mate to the Vapor Dog.
She is full sister.
Full sister.
Okay.
Oakwood's Pepper.
Yep.
And of course she's out of Briar Creek Chrome. Of course everybody knows Briar Creek, and then Pit Hole Creek.
Jim
Lily.
Ridge's stuff.
And Pit Hole Creek Lily. And of course they go back to Zeb, the Red Lady Dog, and then Lily was out of Raisin King and Briar Creek Sissy.
There you go. And then the top side, Cooper, what is he looking like?
Top Cooper was out of Red Ruby Hard Time Buck.
There you
go. And Grand Night Champion Moss Hard Time Lucy.
So she is no accident. She's bred to the hilt, basically, when it comes to English hounds.
Yes, sir. She was bred on purpose, bred to win and to reproduce. And
tell us about, how does she hunt? What do you like about her?
What I like about Lola is she will flat get through the country. I mean, you cut her, and she's been this way since a puppy. I mean, you could cut her loose, and she would go find something. And that's something you can't necessarily beat into a dog. They are born with that, and she has got a lot of hustle and accuracy. She is... I mean, if she trees, load that rifle because she's going to have coon. I mean, well, obviously saw on Friday night, our cast only had 450 plus, but she had a few den trees in there. But if the coons aren't moving, she's going to find something. Or even if they're not moving, like I said on Wednesday night in that Pro Slam, that we wasn't in the coons that we were last night, obviously. And she'll go find something.
Yeah,
she's a hard hunting dog, got a lot of heart, and she's got her mouth isn't my typical mouth that I like. She's more high pitched, but it carries really good. But yeah, when you say the points I like about her is gonna be she's deadly accurate, and she's gonna be by herself, and got a lot of hustle.
Yeah, there you go. So you started talking about your hunt here a little bit. Can you go more into depth about your hunt on Friday night?
Friday night.
Looks like I'm looking at the scorecard. You guys looked at 4 coons, scored 4, and she had 2 of those 4 by herself. Looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Friday night we cut loose in this spot. We pulled out there and we cut loose at 7:00. I wasn't sure how this was going to go because I had never had a cast in there. We just pleasure hunted it. We cut loose at 7, and she shut out the other dogs on the first tree. Yeah, I had first on that first coon, and 2 other dogs backed her. And we scored it and recut, and then she made 2 more den trees after that and got way deep, like 0.9 on that last one. We had like 40 minutes left in the hunt while we was walking to that dog on that last tree, but we get in there, had a coon, and the hunt was over. But then last night we waited to leave the Civic Center. What was it, 8:00 we met out here, so we got there about 9.
Yeah, backing up to Friday, you were back in the clubhouse by 11:00.
Yeah, we got here early, and like I said, she's not normally a dog that make den trees. She's more of the ambush style, and she's pretty accurate because of that.
Yeah.
And so then last night we decided we're just going to wait 2 hours, and we're going to be out there and cut loose about 9 instead of 7. And it really worked out because actually Monday night when we pleasure hunted this spot, we cut loose at midnight. And this little dog treed 5 coons in an hour and 15 minutes. Wow. And when I say hour and 15 minutes, 5 coons, it wasn't 150 yards. The first cut, she was 550, and the next one was like 800 every one of them. And she was just cranking.
Must move pretty quick then.
Yeah, she will. And whenever she trees, you walk her off a tree, walk her 10 feet and cut her. She just goes for another one.
Yeah. And then last night, you had a 3-dog cast last night. Mm-hmm. You cut 3 dogs or whatever. At some point, one of the guys withdrew.
Yeah.
The second dog that stayed in the cast looks like he took a hickey in the first dump. Kind of put you in the driver's seat right out of the gate, looks like.
Yeah, so the dog that withdrew we cut these dogs loose, and his dog went right-handed. It was pretty windy when we first cut loose. He went right-handed. He was like .7, and we was the other way, and we was walking. Lola was treed, and we was walking towards them. We was walking towards her, so we was going to walk out of hearing of Buck. And he's like, you know what, I'm not going to walk in this wind all night long. I'm not sure why he even withdrew, really, because he had a good score Friday night, a really good score. I look back in the placings.
Yeah.
But he withdrew real quick there and got down to 2 dogs. And then, yeah, Dirty White Boy, he was treed the opposite direction from after we scored Lola's first tree. He was treed the opposite direction a long ways. And we get back to where we last heard him, and we hear him treeing. So we're walking, obviously, and then he stops barking. So we stop, put the 2 on him. He took a minus on his tree, so we run the 6, and he took a minus there as well. I guess he left it. And then Lola's treed back again behind us, so we go to her. And after her second coon, so she treed 3 coons. No, hang on. She treed 2 coons at about .8 each one of them. And then she got deep again, almost a mile, and treed 3 of them in a little pocket back in there. And that's how we got the 1,075.
Yeah, and she ended up treating 5 coons.
Yeah, she treated 5 coons by herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really made me proud, for sure.
Yeah. So you come back in. So after your hunt there, you're thinking, man, this you're in the running probably. You probably got that in your mind for sure.
I was not sure, obviously, because my score Friday night was 450 plus, and I don't like to get my hopes up, like so don't get disappointed. But hey, of course, there's a little bit in there hoping that you win it. But I was just wanting to get a double cast win. Honestly, I told Kyle Saturday morning, all I want is to double up, to try and run this Triple Crown thing. And sure enough, we get this 1,075, and it's just amazing.
Yeah,
living it up. It's a dream come true, really, because I've been coming down here to the Winter Classic for several years and never really done much good. I've got a few cast wins and stuff, but nothing that place,
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. This hunting is probably a little different. How would you compare it? What is different about it here as compared to home?
Water. We have, up by us, we have big hills and creek bottoms, cornfields and stuff. It's not like northern Indiana. We have a lot of hills, and so it's hard hunting. These dogs have to go find coons. But down here, I was impressed with Lola, how she is she's not trashy. She never messed with the armadillos down here, and she's always been that way. I mean, I can tell you, in training her, she has treated me 2 off game. Well, I take that back. One time she treated me a house cat, and one time she made a tree, had 3 bobcats in it. That's the only off game she's ever treated. No possums ever.
Really?
Never.
Huh.
And that's like crazy, because we all have dogs that will treat a possum every now and then, but she just never has messed with them.
Yeah.
And the armadillos down here didn't phase her. The place we was hunting in doesn't have a lot of water. It's just splashing water. Not like a foot deep or stuff, but. Other than that, it's very, it's about the same kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh. So what about you, Kyle? You've been coming down here several years as well, right?
Yes, I've been coming down here a bunch of years. I'm going to say pretty close to probably 10 years in a row, or if not pretty close. I usually fly in from Maine to Memphis, rent a vehicle, someone brings me a dog, and I'll try to hunt it a night or so, and then get in. Something I want to throw up back on Jared on the Lola female is I'm the big pedigree deal, and we actually just bought the 3rd pup out of this litter.
Oh.
And there's something that these dogs all seem to, so far, we don't know about the 3rd one, but they have in common, and that is they are an ambush style dog, but someone's bred them good enough and smart enough that they will, people say it, but we actually watch it. Lola will run down through a field 1,000 miles an hour, and she'll stop and stand on her back legs like a dancing bear, won't she? Mm-hmm. And then she'll fire in there 250 yards, locate, and when she does, she's almost done, and Jared's already loading the rifle and calling her tree.
Yeah. Probably make a good rig dog.
She probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Maine, what does your hunting look like?
My hunting's terrible.
Pines.
A lot of pines, very thick. I've had to back into more trees just to get into them. I have about a 45-minute drive to my first hunting spot, and it's the best one I have. It is literally 1.5 miles long by 1.25 miles wide island.
Yeah.
And I hunt certain sections of it, and I have to treat it like different hunting spots, and it's just hard.
Yeah, so that's probably where somebody like Jared comes in good to have a partnership like that. And he's in a great area in the Midwest there, and and not far from anywhere really.
Yep. And I usually drive down to Indiana and Illinois about 8-9 times a year just to hunt. We'll hunt together. I'll hunt down there a week, and we'll get together and hunt at his place and then at my place in Illinois, and that's how we do it.
So we were talking earlier, Jared. You said you've never had a big major win, really, other than what was it? Something at English Days with Lola. What was it? The opposite sex or reserve or something?
Yeah, it was this summer. This past summer in Florida, Illinois. I won opposite sex.
There you go.
English
there you
Days.
go.
And that was pretty pretty great.
Well, has this sunk in yet?
Not really. We got here a little late this morning, so we missed kind of all the paparazzi about it.
Yeah, we had the lights turned off
But,
already before you got here. We had them on. There was no.
But English Days was amazing because I scored 850 with her. I think 8.25, 850 on Friday night, and then Saturday night I just got a cast when it wasn't about 200 or something like that. But that was enough for the English part, and so that's basically the only major UKC hunt that she's been in. I had her read. I was going to make a run at the World Hunt this past fall. She's come in heat. And then again, she had a short cycle. She come in heat in January again, just this past January. So, she come in heat she started swelling like the second week of January, and I was having a heart attack because I'm like, I know she's cranking, and now this bitch is going to be in heat, and I can't hunt her at Winter Classics. Well, I guess the good Lord was watching out for us, and he wanted us to be here. But she just come out of heat like a week and a half ago.
Oh, really?
So she is not hunted up. I mean, I hunted obviously very hard, but it's not like we've been pounding for the last month because she had a month off from being in heat.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't want to hold you guys up. I know you got a long trip back home. We're sitting here on a Sunday morning. I don't know what time it is, 7:30, 7:23, I guess, actually, here. But probably haven't had much sleep here.
No.
But yeah, hey, I'll give you both the opportunity for some final thoughts you might have to add to this.
I don't know. The main thing I want to say is thanks to Kyle for his partnership on these dogs and stuff. Like, it wouldn't be possible without him. I mean, it takes a team. Like we always say, all these guys like Eli over here and like the Luke Elam, Jason Elam, those boys that are always with us in the hunts and stuff. They hunt pups. They do this and that, whatever all. And like right now, I'm in the spotlight because of this win. But if it wasn't for Kyle with being the money man behind it, and me being able to hunt these dogs, and it's a whole team effort, definitely.
Yeah. And
I just it's means more than you can put to words. It's amazing.
I just I'm enjoying along for the ride. My big dream for as long as I can remember, started hunting when I was 13, was seeing guys like Jim Ridge. I wanted to be a stud dog owner, and I wanted to have something successful. And I've been chasing that dream my whole life. And, of course, now that's coming to fruition. I've always been into that and pedigrees. I spend hundreds of hours, putting percentages to pedigree. And all that, again, is great, but it doesn't do anything unless you got someone who will run the boot leather and put them in the timber. And Jared is probably, for his age, the best dog man I've ever met, self included. I've done a lot with dogs, but Jared, when Jared gets inside a dog's head, he knows where they're at, and that's why we're here.
Well, hey, you say that, and Jared's still, by our standards, he's still a pretty young man here. So
Yes,
he's
he
in the
is.
prime of his life as far as hunting dogs and things like that. Hey, one other thing I want to back up a little bit, Jared, that I just thought I didn't ask you is, do you just concentrate basically on one dog? You've got Lola here. Are you hunting other dogs along with her?
So I try to have one good dog that is not necessarily in training, like Lola, that I can depend on that she's going to treat me a coon. And then I do have, we always have pups. So we have a 7-8 month old pup there now that I'm messing with. You know, I pack her through the woods. She'll tree here and there and stuff, but nothing consistent, you know. But I'm always taking pups to the woods, and we got all ages of pups. So I'm always working with more than one dog. But so about a year ago, I about burned myself out trying to hunt, 2, 3, 4 of these dogs that need correction and this and that and needs to figure their life out, whatever all.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know what my limits are, and I just make sure that I have one good dog for sure, and pups. I like doing pups. They're a lot of fun, and most guys don't want to mess with pups. I told Kyle I'll take them until they're, 10 months old, and somebody else can take them once they're running and treeing, and then I'm kind of done with them because I want to start with something else, and somebody else can finish them out.
Yeah.
Single them out and take them on to greatness.
Yep. Well, hey, there you heard it right from the owners and handlers, Jared, Lehman, Kyle Stoops from Indiana and Maine, I guess. But congratulations, the 2025 Winter Classic champion, Seven Oaks Hard Time Lola, three-year-old English female. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. Interesting guys. And Kyle, he's a very well-spoken guy, and he is all into pedigrees, as you could hear. He is the pedigree guy, and hey, you could tell Jared really appreciates this partnership because it's allowed him to have good dogs and get good dogs like this one, and where and not just that, but you heard Kyle talking about Maine is just not a good place to coon hunt, really.
Sure.
Not like where Jared lives, and he sees how Jared is such a hard hunter and everything, and he enjoys this partnership for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Congratulations to that team. What an impressive start for the year for Lola and the entire Seven Oaks team there. So, and we probably went a little bit longer than we thought we should. We're just driving down through here, enjoying ourselves. So got a little time to kill, I guess. But before we jump off here, we've got to do our usual thank yous and shout outs, and start out with the event staff. I think I heard it from a couple people. You guys are looking a little short staffed this year as far as UKC personnel there at the event, and we kind of knew that was going to be that way ahead of time, but man, everybody picked up a little slack here and there, and that's a testament to the people that we had in tow with us, and just made it as smooth of an event as ever.
Yep, it really was, and probably not so much in the hunt office. Maybe we had Lacey in our department is usually the one that's with us, and she just had a baby this last week, so that's
right.
why she was not there. But your wife Jenna stepped up to the plate and kind of took on that role and did an excellent job. Excellent. And then Doug Kunda's wife also helped her and Jenna kind of tag team the walk-ups and some other things. Did an excellent job. So we really appreciate them for sure.
Yeah, I can't find the mistake that she's made with the walk-ups yet, but I'm going to scour through the scorecards and see if I can find
Don't
something
be too hard on
that she did wrong. But 100% is pretty impressive.
I always say this: when we make mistakes in the hunt office, they will show up somewhere.
Yep.
And Friday night, we're all kind of looking around when nobody comes up with nothing. It's like nothing. Nobody has anything.
Yeah.
That
That's
means
a good feeling.
That's a good feeling, and that all happened up in the hunt office. I can tell you that.
And her and Kim had a good time with the hunters, with them rolling through there.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure appreciate all they did, not just there, but for the entire event, setting up and breaking down and everything in between.
Kayla Cooper, she came over she helped us until she had to go home Friday night. I think she is a UKC employee, works remotely from her home state in Alabama. appreciate everything Kayla does. She's so great at setup stuff. So making things look nice and set up all the crating and all that on the show arena side. Debbie Schiller was a new name that came to this event for the first time. She did all the merch. And I think she was having fun with it down there. She's driving right now. We should actually get her on here. Debbie, tell us a little bit about your experience this first year. Can you do this while you're driving?
I can do this all day long, just like standing at the event all day long, hanging out with everybody, talking to as many of the hunters as I could. I had such a great time meeting everybody. Everyone will know that I had very little knowledge about any of the coonhounds, and so many people came up to me and were more than happy to explain what was going on, how they were doing, whether they were doing well or whether they needed to improve a little bit. Better luck next time, and I hope to see everybody at Autumn Oaks.
Yeah, awesome. Every night after the staff all met, you could tell Debbie was having fun down there at the merch booth, and she did a great job, and we appreciate that, Debbie.
Yeah, awesome. That we talked about a little bit. She brought a whole new element to that merch booth, and being the one behind the ordering and the designing. She got a wealth of knowledge there this weekend. I think.
Yeah, matter of fact, it was her that drew the Winter Classic dog that was on the shirt.
Yeah,
she hand drew that.
Yeah,
she's the best artist we have.
Are you saying that she doesn't run us off the road here?
Yeah. Keep your eye on the road, Debbie.
Then over in the registration booth, as always, we have Taylor Armstrong, who just does a ton for us. She can handle a crowd better than anyone there, getting people their papers in and processed. And I noticed a couple of people who had did changes. They turned their papers in on Friday. On Saturday, that had already been processed already. So her and Chaz Weatherford also came over from Arizona and worked his hind end off with her as well, and we sure appreciate those two.
Absolutely. Yep.
Nicole Sedlecki. She's our vice president, but you wouldn't know it. She's one of those that isn't afraid to get dirty. She does all the little stuff in between. Had to do a lot with the show this year since we were a little short-staffed on that side of it. But
a year ago she couldn't be with us. She had a baby a year ago. I don't know what it is with all the ladies they're all having babies around Winter Classic time, I guess. I don't know. Lacey, and last year it was Nicole. This year it's Lacey, but no, Nicole was back with us, and hey, she's always good to work with and does such a great job for us. And I know she was calling home talking to little Mac every now and then. That's her little boy that she had, about a year old now. And I'm sure she's ready to get home to him and her husband and everything. But no, all of our crew, they do such a fantastic job. And not just them. You haven't mentioned the reps yet. You will hear,
Yeah, we got Andrea also, who was, Andrea is our new social media.
And she was also a new one this year.
And I thought for her first event, the coverage on social media was just awesome.
Yeah, she did a fine job with that. Absolutely did.
Yeah.
I think she enjoyed it too. It was new for her too as well. So
I think she learned a lot about coonhounds and hunting in general.
And adapting quickly like that, and we appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah, she did awesome. And you mentioned the field reps. We should talk about the field reps a little bit. Doug Cundiff working there off the grounds. Obviously had a bunch of casts both nights to sort through. Had some long nights. Didn't get out there till 4 a.m. on both nights. But man, he always does a great job. Don't ever have to worry about the grounds whenever Doug's there.
Yeah, I know. And it's always good to have him. He's usually what we call the floater there behind when we're taking entries and everything, and he's very familiar with our systems and this and that, and we don't even he doesn't even need to come to you or I anymore. He will a lot of times, but it's good to have somebody that you can actually step away from, and Doug's got it covered.
That's right. Going down to Winona was Mr. Philip Foster from South Carolina, and man, I always have fun working with Philip. He's as sharp as a tack on the rules. He knows how to talk to people the right way, and just another one. I don't have to worry about Winona at all when Philip's there.
Not that, and we don't have to worry about anything. He's learned the processes very quickly and does an excellent job.
down to Vardaman. It's kind of a two-person job this year. Of course, we talked about Mr. Allen Kalal. His had the issues going on, so Jamie stepped in for us judging the top 10 show on Friday, so he wasn't able to go to Vardaman, which was his original assignment. So we had to get a local legend around there, a guy who officiates more events than just about anybody in the state of Mississippi, Mr. Wesley Ratcliffe from over around Meadville area. And he stepped into Vardaman. He had, I think, 9 or 10 casts, knocked it out, did everything I needed him to do, didn't have an issue, a blip. And I sure appreciate Wesley stepping in on about 12 hours notice for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Friendly feller and good guy. So, yeah, and does a good job. So, appreciate it.
And then Jamie went to Vardaman on Saturday night, another guy who just helps me immensely when I'm in there trying to process all the numbers and stuff to get ready for that early morning Sunday awards. And he's just I say it all the time, we got as good of a group of field reps as a person could ask for.
Yeah, Jamie Step out of West Virginia. Then Mark Vest, he's the newest one out of Texas, and
we made him drive.
Yeah.
He went over to Mariana both night, but he got the gumbo.
Yeah, he did, and he's a good one too, and it's good to have him there, and he's learned the ropes real quick as well.
Very quick, catches on very quick. He's a sharp guy.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, and
just a good crew. And really, we talked about Friday night after drew all the casts. They were done early. We could have started drawing or calling casts. At 3 o'clock. We have to at 3:30 is when we do all the walk-ups and the guys that had changes, call them back to the hunt office to give them their cast numbers.
Yeah.
Because everybody else gets their cast numbers unless they had a change or did a walk-up.
Yep.
But we were waiting for that 3:30 to come around. We could have started way early. Everybody was just way ahead of time. But that's just because of the efficiency. Everybody moved through everything quickly, and yeah.
Absolutely. We did they all did a great job, and we should mention Tracy Chilson took our photos for us, our win photos, and also some candidates around. Can't wait to see what she came up with. She's steady. I'm glad she's on our team. She's steady and reliable as they come.
Yep, she's great with the hunters, taking those pictures, and takes good pictures. One thing I noticed that she'll tell us, a lot of times the hunters get up there like this morning, a couple of guys on the side, they'll stick their hands in their pocket. She'll ask them to get their hands out of their pocket, just in a nice way. And you know what, when you look at it, she's right. They do make for better pictures.
That's what she said. You'll thank me when you see the picture, and she's right.
She's right.
She's right,
exactly
absolutely.
Right. Does a great job.
And lastly, we should thank the city of Batesville, kind of roll out the red carpet for us every year, help us out any way we can. The whole Civic Center staff and all those folks are just a great help in keeping this hunt as a huge success in this part of the country.
Yeah, and there was none more so than this year, where it was very apparent and evident to us how we weren't asking them for this or that. They were coming to us, making sure everything was good, and it's very apparent. And I can tell you, all of our listeners and those that go to the Winter Classic, they want us there at Batesville.
Yep.
They want us to be there, and they want us to come back for a long time.
And if you missed it, remember you can check out all the standings and results, ukcdogs.com, Coonhound standings and results page. Check out the UKC Coonhounds Facebook page, Hunting Ops and UKC Instagram pages, all our social medias. And if you missed it this year, then I sure hope we see you next year at the 2026 Winter Classic. And I guess there's one more thing we should mention, and that's our sponsors. Without the sponsors we have, the generous sponsors we have, we wouldn't be able to put on events like this at all. And we have a great list here, starting out Ringtails and Tall Tails Hunting Supply. Philip Baldwin down there in Northeast Tennessee has been a great sponsor for us. Just came on recently, so appreciate Philip.
A lot of the winners in the hunt got a new pair of chaps and boots, and that's courtesy of them.
I think he's kind of tied in here with Wildcat Valley Hound Supply, who's kind of a wholesale supplier for vendors around. Appreciate their donations to the event as well for the hunters. We have Bright Eyes Lights, Mr. Ray Conrad. We handed out a pile of them.
I think, 15, 16, 17 of them, a lot of them. Thank you, Ray.
Easy Loader Dog Kennels. Had a Easy Loader kennel for the overall bench show winner. A couple of those drinking spots.
Yep, those are a nice kennel. Fits in the back of an SUV or back of your truck, what have you, or back of a ATV, whatever. But those are nice little dog carriers.
You got Kelly's K-Light, Sandra Hintz. It's always a big sponsor of all our events through the year.
Yep. Appreciate Sandra.
Gun Dog Supply, a local hunting supply store.
Yep, they're not very far. Matheson, Mississippi is where their headquarters are. Matter of fact, a year ago, I was over there in Matheson, and I stopped in. They gave me a tour of it, and they've got one of the guys that gave me a tour is a beagler over there.
Oh.
And but yeah, that's a big shop. They do a lot of online sales, but yeah, they do a lot for us in the sport.
Timber Creek Dog Supply doesn't get more local than that, Mr. Bob Osborne.
Yep, he is not far away there in Oxford, and he's always set up on the arena floor down there and does a lot for us, and we appreciate him. He's one of the good vendors down there in the local area. I think he does. A lot of them flock to him to do their business.
They got Okie Dog Supply and Mule Brand Gear and Apparel.
Yep, they're over in, where are they? Oklahoma, I think they are. Yep,
yep,
they do a lot and have been a long-time sponsor. Appreciate them.
One of the newer ones, it's from Matt Lingo and Houndsman Advantage.
Yeah.
Appreciate their sponsorship.
Yep, this is the first year for that, and Matt is all excited about his new scorecard app.
Yes.
He actually showed me a couple things that I checked out that are going to be pretty cool coming out. So I'll let him announce all that stuff, but it's pretty cool, man. I was kind of a little giddy.
I thought you were about to break the news.
Well, I don't know. It was a high five moment for me. I can tell you that much.
Can't wait to see it. We mentioned Coon Dog Wear about the Slam sponsorship already. Appreciate BK Kyling and his entire team.
Yeah, how about that? That's just a cool guy right there, and he's all into this sport, and he's probably more of a celebrity than most realize or whatever. But yeah, he's a great guy. Appreciate him.
And lastly, we'll mention our partner, and you've probably heard them in commercials on here already, but our official performance dog nutrition partner, Eukanuba.
Yep. Lynn Carradine was there at the event and supports
Yes.
these events, these Coonhound events, and comes to those, and she's easy to talk to, and I always encourage folks to. There's a lot of different dog foods out there, but I can tell you, Eukanuba, I feed it, and not just because they're a sponsor. Well, that's maybe why I feed it to begin with, but I can tell you it is an excellent feed. But you want to know more about it, check out their website. If you're at an event where Lynn's there, one of our major events, make sure you go and talk to her.
We also got to take a chance to thank Mac Talent. He has a business, Talent Outfitters LLC, where he guides hunts, whitetail hunts up in northern Missouri. Also does some elk and mule deer guiding out in Colorado. This weekend, Winter Classic, he donated a hunt valued at $5,000. Now, we weren't sure what to do with it at first. After talking to everybody, we decided that each Plus Point cast winner on Friday and Saturday night had a raffle ticket. We threw it all in a hat, and there on Sunday mornings at the beginning of the award ceremony, had Alan draw a name out of the hat, and the winner this year was actually in attendance there on Sunday morning to get his picture taken. It was Matthew Keene of Virginia. He had a great weekend. He was a high-scoring male BBOA and BBCHA with his dog Making Music, Moondog. He had an awesome weekend, and he also got to throw in a $5,000 guided elk hunt valued at that with Mac Talent. So double cast wins on that. Can't beat that for Matt Keene of Virginia. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out for him.
Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.